Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us.
It's great to be here.
Today we're going to be talking about a paper that I thought was really insightful, and I think you're going to find it insightful as well. It's called Key Parallels Between Managing Digital Capital and Managing Human Capital.
Yeah, Chris Tansey wrote this one, and it's really interesting, especially for folks like us. We're always thinking about the future of work.
Exactly, and this paper, when I first saw the title, I was like, okay, this is an interesting comparison. But as I dug into it, it's not just drawing parallels. It's really about realizing that managing AI and this whole world of digital capital isn't some like totally foreign concept.
Yeah, I think what Tansey does so well is he takes what could be a very futuristic sort of sci-fi topic and brings it back down to earth.
Totally.
And he does that by showing how many of the skills we already use to manage people are directly applicable to managing AI.
Right. And he starts right off the bat with this idea of communication.
Yeah, one of the first things he talks about is how the way we give instructions to employees is very similar to how we prompt AI.
Yeah, and it's like such a basic concept, but he really drives home the point that with AI, it's not just what you ask, but how you ask it.
He has this great example in the paper where he talks about telling an AI to summarize this for a technical audience
Right.
versus just kind of vaguely asking, what is this about? And it seems obvious, but it's that level of specificity
Right.
that can really make a difference in the quality of the output you get.
And I love how he brings in his background in human capital management here, because it's not just like a techie analysis.
Right.
It's about understanding like the psychology of communication, whether you're dealing with a person or an algorithm.
It's all about clarity and making sure your message is received the way you intended it.
He even makes this analogy to prompt engineering being like giving directions to a contractor. You know,
Oh, I like that.
if you give them vague instructions, you're going to get vague results, whether it's a house renovation or like an AI analysis.
Right. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Tansey really nails that this core principle of clear communication. It really does transcend that human-machine barrier.
Yeah, and it's not just about the initial instructions either. He goes on to compare performance reviews for employees to how we refine AI prompts over time.
Oh, that's so good.
It's this iterative process that, again, we kind of intuitively get with human teams, but we might not think about applying to AI in the same way.
It's like every time we tweak an AI prompt because the output isn't quite right,
Yeah.
we're essentially giving it a little performance review.
Exactly.
And just like with an employee, that consistent feedback helps it learn and improve.
And what Tansey does so well is he doesn't just state these parallels, he dives into the implications.
Right.
He argues that recognizing this feedback loop with AI is key to unlocking its potential, just like it is with human talent.
It really makes you think differently about how we approach AI development. Are we treating it like something we just set and forget? Or are we actively nurturing its growth through this constant feedback and refinement?
Yeah, are we investing in its development the same way we would invest in the development of our employees?
Exactly. And Tansey definitely seems to be advocating for that more hands-on approach.
Absolutely. And this leads really well into his next point, which is this idea of specialists versus generalists.
Okay.
And he tackles this by comparing different types of employees to different AI tools.
I love how he does that.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
think about like a single function AI, like a chatbot that's just designed for basic customer service.
Right.
He equates that to a specialist on your team, someone who's super skilled in one particular area.
Okay, so super niche kind of thing.
Exactly. And then you have these more advanced AI platforms that can handle a variety of tasks, coordinate different processes.
Right, more like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, and Tansey equates those to project managers,
Okay.
those folks who can oversee multiple projects, keep everything running smoothly. It's like he's mapped out this whole organizational chart for AI.
I love that.
And what I find so striking is how he weaves this intricate comparison without making it overly technical.
Yeah.
He uses analogies and examples that resonate, which I think speaks to his deep understanding of both human and digital capital.
He does this throughout the whole paper.
Yeah.
He could have easily gotten lost in the weeds, but he constantly brings it back to these relatable scenarios,
Yeah.
making it accessible for anyone, regardless of their AI expertise.
And that accessibility is what makes this paper so impactful. It's
Yeah.
like he's taken this complex, almost intimidating world of AI management and illuminated it with these familiar, human-centric principles.
It's brilliant, and he's just getting started.
Yeah.
It's like the foundation he's laying, and we're going to dive into even deeper parallels in the next part of our deep dive.
So, we've talked about communication, we've talked about feedback, and this is where it gets really interesting because Kanzi then starts talking about trust.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we've established how to give clear instructions, how to provide feedback, but what about that deeper level of trust? That's so essential in any team dynamic.
And he brings in this really interesting comparison between granting employees autonomy and how we approach trust with AI.
Right. It's not about giving a brand new employee complete freedom on day one
Right.
or expecting an untested AI system to just handle, mission critical tasks.
Exactly.
Trust is earned gradually on both sides.
And I think you can really see Tansey's deep understanding of human psychology here.
Oh, yeah.
He gets that building trust isn't just about like ticking boxes.
Right.
It's about consistent performance, proving reliability.
Showing that you're capable of handling greater responsibility.
Exactly. And he argues that this applies just as much to our digital workforce as it does to our human teams.
I think that's such a key insight.
Like, as your AI consistently delivers reliable results, you start giving it more autonomy.
Right.
Maybe automating more complex tasks or integrating it into, more critical decision-making processes.
It's almost like you're mentoring this AI,
Yeah.
guiding it along a similar path as a high potential employee.
I love
You start with close supervision, you provide regular feedback, and as it proves itself, you gradually loosen the reins.
It's that same sense of satisfaction you get as a manager when you watch, a junior employee grow into a project lead.
Totally.
You've invested in their development, and now they're thriving with greater responsibility. And Tansey makes you realize that we can and should cultivate that same growth mindset with AI.
And he pushes this even further by connecting it to the overall evolution of AI.
Okay.
Just like you wouldn't expect employees to stay at the top of their game without ongoing training and development, AI models need continuous learning and updates to remain relevant and effective.
Oh, absolutely, like those professional development programs we invest in for our teams.
Exactly.
Tansey's arguing that AI needs that same kind of ongoing education.
Right. It needs fresh data algorithm tweaks to stay sharp, to keep pace with the constantly evolving world of information and technology.
It's this concept of lifelong learning applied to the digital realm.
I love how he puts it. He describes it as your AI being enrolled in continuous learning programs.
Yeah. Constantly getting updated with new data to stay ahead of the curve.
I love that analogy. It makes you think of AI not as this static tool, but as this dynamic entity that's constantly learning and growing.
Right, and it really emphasizes the importance of not just implementing AI, but actively nurturing its development.
Making sure it stays sharp and relevant.
And this brings us to one of the most compelling aspects of Tansey's work, which is his ability to weave all these seemingly disparate ideas into a cohesive and thought-provoking narrative.
He's so good at connecting the dots.
He doesn't shy away from the bigger picture.
Right, he's constantly reminding us that managing AI isn't this radical departure from traditional management. It's really just an extension of the principles we've been using for years.
And he does it in a way that feels both groundbreaking and reassuring.
Yes.
It's like he's saying, look, we've got this. We already possess the core skills needed to navigate this new world of digital capital.
Right.
We just need to adapt them, refine them, and apply them with the same care and intention we do with our human teams. It's that sense of empowerment that I found so inspiring.
Me too.
It's not about fearing the rise of AI or feeling overwhelmed by its complexity. It's about recognizing that we as leaders and managers are well-equipped to harness its power responsibly and effectively.
And Tansey's brilliance lies in how he makes that realization so accessible, so tangible.
Totally.
He takes these complex ideas and breaks them down into these relatable analogies, these human-centric examples.
Making it feel like, okay, I can wrap my head around this. I can do this.
He's like this AI whisperer,
Yeah.
bridging the gap between the technical and the human.
Making it clear that the future of work isn't about man versus machine. It's about man with machine.
Collaborating, learning from each other, and achieving more together than we ever could apart.
Exactly, and that's what makes Tansey's work so crucial.
He's not just laying out a set of principles, he's painting a vision of a future where human and artificial intelligence work in harmony.
Augmenting each other's strengths,
Yeah.
pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And he makes a compelling case for why that future is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced, to be excited about.
Because in the end, it's not about replacing human ingenuity. It's about amplifying it, scaling it, unlocking a whole new level of creative and intellectual potential.
And he drives this point home by emphasizing that The key to unlocking that potential lies not in mastering some complex futuristic skill set,
Right.
but in honing those core management principles that have stood the test of time.
He's basically saying, don't get caught up in the hype, don't get lost in the technical jargon.
Focus on the fundamentals.
Clear communication, constructive feedback, trust, and autonomy. These are the timeless pillars of effective leadership, whether you're leading a team of people or a suite of AI tools.
It's about recognizing that good management transcends the boundaries between human and digital.
That the same principles that make us effective leaders of people can also make us effective stewards of AI. And this is where Tansey's vision really shines. He sees this future of work not as a battleground, but as a collaborative space.
Where human intuition and AI's analytical power come together to create something truly extraordinary. And he empowers us to be a part of that transformation, to be the architects of this new era of human-machine collaboration.
He makes it clear that we're not passive bystanders in this technological revolution. We're the drivers, the shapers, the ones who will determine how AI integrates into our world and how we, in turn, adapt and evolve alongside it.
It's a call to action, a challenge to step up and embrace the possibilities, to see AI not as a threat, but as an opportunity to redefine what's possible, to push the boundaries of human achievement, and to create a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
You know, as we're wrapping up our deep dive into Tansey's work, one thing that really stuck with me is just how brilliant his approach is.
Hmm.
He could have written this super technical paper on AI management, but instead he chose to ground it in something that we all inherently understand: human interaction.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this paper so impactful. It really demystifies AI by connecting it to principles that we're already using every day.
Like whether you're managing a team or just, trying to get a point across in a meeting, those core communication and trust building skills are suddenly relevant to this cutting edge tech.
Absolutely. It's like he created this mental bridge between these two worlds that often feel so separate.
Totally. And by doing so, he's given us this powerful toolkit for approaching AI not with fear or uncertainty, but with a sense of familiarity and confidence.
And what's so exciting is that this toolkit isn't static.
Right.
It's adaptable, something we can continue to refine as AI evolves.
Like we're not starting from scratch.
Exactly. We're building on this foundation of human experience.
And it makes me wonder, thinking about our listeners out there, if managing AI really is about leveraging those proven principles of human interaction, what are some of your strengths as a leader or manager that you could bring to the table?
That's a great question to consider. Are you someone who excels at setting clear expectations? Or maybe you have a knack for giving feedback that helps people grow, not just perform tasks?
Maybe you're really good at recognizing potential, seeing those hidden strengths in someone, and empowering them to take on new challenges.
Whatever your unique talents are, chances are they have a place in this world of AI management.
Because at its core, it's all about fostering those productive, harmonious relationships, whether your teammate is a human being or a sophisticated algorithm.
It is.
Yeah,
And that's
right.
something we as humans are uniquely equipped to do.
Tansey's work is a call to action, to embrace that human element, to see AI not as a replacement, but as an extension of our capabilities.
As a tool to amplify our creativity and problem-solving skills.
And as we kind of step into this new era of collaboration, I think Tansey's parting thought is so crucial.
What's that?
Don't be afraid to experiment, to learn to adapt. This is a journey we're all on together.
Absolutely. And the most valuable skill we can cultivate is a willingness to keep evolving alongside this incredible technology.
This paper has truly been an eye-opener, and I hope it's inspired you to see the potential of AI not as a threat, but as a powerful ally in shaping the future of work. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, stay curious.